Hi everybody, Kai Waza with you, and we are going through my Hawaiian record collection, wrapping up the letter S, and we're going through the Exotica records in the collection today. Going to finish up the Exotica section, letter S. First, a record that's very near and dear to my heart, I have to tell you. This is called the Exotic Sounds of, or the Sounds of Exotic Island by the Surfmen. Beautiful cover. However, this album was reissued later on, and I really know it by the reissue because that's where I first came into contact with it. I think my grandfather got me this record when I was a kid, and I became really, really attached to it. I've replaced it. I mean, this isn't the original one, but I know it really as Trade Winds Romance from Hawaii to Tahiti by the South Sea Serenaders. Now, but this is exactly the same record. Exactly the same. This one is an Exotica album, kind of in this style of like Martin Denny, done when Martin Denny was popular. So there's bird calls and bongos and all of that. In fact, I really would go out on a limb and say, I think of all the Exotica albums, including Denny and Lyman and everybody else that did their own Exotica LPs, this probably really is the best one. I think it's an amazing record. It's mod in a very 60s kind of way. A lot of interesting arrangements, interesting percussion, but still it's kind of classy, in a way. And I love the liner notes. A lot of these records have great liner notes, and I want to share them with you a little bit on the original one because they're so poetic. Here are the sounds and moods of far-away exotic island. This is music with the hypnotic enchantment of a jungle paradise filled with both the romantic and the forbidden. From the delicate eroticism of Orchid Lagoon, the calling surf of Moonlight in Paradise, to the terror of the volcanic sacrifice in Fire Goddess. This is music of a unique and spicy flavor. This is the lure and spell of Exotic Island. Special percussion instruments used were Tahitian log, Chinese wind glass, Guatemalan gourd, coconut shells, lava stones, bamboo rods from Hawaii, bamboo puppet shakers from Hong Kong, whatever that is, and Congo drums from Tanganyika, Africa. Tropical bird calls, surf, and jungle sounds are authentic recordings of same. I do give them credit in that the jungle sounds and the bird calls I think are pretty much all actual bird calls. They're not people making that sound. It may be augmented a little bit, but anyway, this is a fabulous album. Some well-known musicians were in this group called the Surfmen. Paul Horn, Roland Bundog, Jimmy Rolls, Al Hendrickson, Alvino Ray, Jack Sperling, Sam Wise, Jack Costanza, Milt Holland, Gene Estes, Ann Stockholm, Emil Richards. Some of these people were pretty well known in the jazz recordings. So if you ever come across any of these two, please get them. It's fabulous. Then they took some of the recordings from Exotic Island and did another album. This is the Budget Labor Somerset. And they took 4 or 5 of those songs and they put them with some sort of traditional sounding steel guitar. I think maybe it's Sam Makia, but I'm not 100% sure. And this album called Hawaii Exotic Sounds of the Surfmen. Very nice also. These ladies you'll actually see in some other record covers in different configurations. I'm going to do, one day I'll do a video on certain models that you'll see on several different record covers. It's kind of interesting. And then there's this one, Colorful Romantic Hawaii. And guess what? It's the same record as this. It's just another reissue of it by Alshire this time. Exotic Sounds of the Surfmen. Exactly the same record. Very nice. Okay, now we get into, finally, I'm not exactly sure what to say about this lady. The Queen of Exotica, really, if ever there was one. Yma Sumac, I think that's how you say it, Yma Sumac. Uh, supposedly, sort of this mysterious, what do they say? Nobody knows if this is really all true or not, a lot of speculation, but she was born in the Andes, a descendant of the last of the Incan kings. Yma Sumac spent her childhood literally talking with the birds, the beasts, the winds, the sounds of life and nature surrounding the little village of Ichokan. And while a small girl, she began taking part in religious pageants and services of the sun-worshipping Indians and became almost deified by them. Oh, Yma Sumac. And then her legend spreads, and she eventually becomes famous and whisked away to the United States, and Les Baxter and Moses Vivianca started recording albums with her. I don't know if this is the first one, but Voice of the Ixtabe, and this has two albums on it, Voice of the Ixtabe and Inca Taqui, or Chant of the Incans. Great song titles, very exotic stuff. Chant of the Chosen Maidens, Earthquake, Dance of the Moon Festival, Lure of the Unknown Love, The Forest Creatures, My Destiny. Great stuff. She usually sings sometimes in Spanish, sometimes in Incan something, whatever, and sometimes she's just making crazy noises, but she has like this 4-octave vocal range. It's crazy stuff. And then she did this one also, Legend of the Sun Virgin. And great album too. And I actually have those also in 10 inches, this original size for them. Yma Sumac, Mambo. This has song titles Jungala, Bo Mambo, Chicken Talk. Love the cover there too. Yeah. Fuego del Ande, Fire of the Andes by Yma Sumac. Featuring Cinnamon Flower and the Hot Rooster and Enchanted Lake. Great stuff. Then this one, I think this maybe was her last album. It's much later than the rest. I just got this one recently, and because it's always like super expensive. 1972, super expensive when you see it, and I never picked it up because it was so expensive, but I finally got it at a reasonable price, and I kind of didn't want to pay too much for it because I thought I wasn't going to like it. I hear reviews all the time of people interested in Exotica music who say this album they did not care for because it's later, it's sort of like rockish a bit, and she's doing her thing, but the instrumentation is much more modern and contemporary. Surprisingly, I really liked this album because I was not expecting to like it, but it's kind of cool. If you like the later Les Baxter, some of these songs like Zebra, Azure Sands, Magenta Mountain, Flame Tree were already previously recorded before by Les Baxter as instrumentals in his sort of more contemporary 70s stage, and then they just take those songs, rearrange them for Yma Sumac and her voice. I really liked this album, so I would recommend it personally. So let's listen to a few samples. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to see more videos like this, you can subscribe. Give it a thumbs up. If you have any of these records or are familiar with any of these artists, have anything to say about them, I'd love to hear from you and what your thoughts were. Do you have miracles? Do you like it? I love it. Okay. We'll see you next time. Thank you.